Shamps and giggles, history, news, views, and reviews from a black perspective.
You know, just amazing how all these things, all these pieces do come together. This is an amazing conversation. We are talking about autism and its effects. We've already discussed many of the signs of autism and the challenges autistic families have to deal with, because the whole family has to be involved, you know, to be fair. And oftentimes that doesn't happen because people don't really understand autism. But, you know, it can be, doesn't have to be, can be a lifelong disability. Children have difficult, as well as adults, have difficulty communicating, repetitive behaviors. They find changes distressing. So if you're moving house, that's distressing. If you just change your car, oh, new car, what's going on here? That's distressing. If they get picked up by bus from school, one day a car comes to pick them up. Well, what's happening here? Normally it's a bus. You know, there's, you know, all these things which as parents you've got to be aware of. Sensory overload. Sometimes there's things going on around them, just too much, and they just can't take it. And, you know, communication we spoke about already, but non-verbal, pre-verbal, some don't get a voice till they're 15, 18, and so on. Need for help from an early age, 3 times more likely to be excluded from school, difficulty getting full-time work, report of mental health issues as they get older. They're in need of special educational needs at the schools where they're based. And of course, when educational healthcare plan is very important for parents to get for their children, especially when the children are young, because early intervention can lead to improved outcomes. It's very important. And again, you know, as Black people, we're not to misunderstand, which Pinky mentioned is a very valid point. Many Black parents misunderstand the signs, thinking it's bad behavior. No, autism. Child needs help, needs extra attention. Maybe you've got to go to work, but you know what? Maybe you need to finish with work. Your job is now looking after your autistic child. Toots, hand is up, top, the pinks.
And you can't even get a diagnosis until they're 5 as well. From 5 upwards, you can't get a diagnosis for autism before that.
That's a change.
Right.
Yeah, it's only from 5 upwards.
And that is sad.
Which is
Trust
sad,
me,
yeah.
That's
it's
a
sad.
financial change because the autism is there gripping your behind from 1, 2.
Yeah.
You know,
and you're saying you're saying they're bad or they're this, and you're not understanding it even yourself within the Black community, this is where some of the problem lies in terms of how the Black child within that sense is very much stigmatized for being bad. So
now there is a movie regarding autism and why autism has gone up so on such a trajectory where it's just it's nationwide, you know, it's worldwide,
vaccines,
and it's growing very quickly. Let me share this video with you. It can be found on YouTube. It's called
even a lot more adults have been diagnosed with autism these days as well, and ADHD.
Yeah, late diagnosis because
into adult age.
It wasn't acknowledged. This video vaxxed from cover up to catastrophe. It's just a trailer, just about 2 minutes long. The whole movie can be found on YouTube, but it makes for interesting watching. Let's just see this 2 minutes and we'll talk some more.
My phone rings and it's Dr. William Thompson.
You and I don't know each other very well. You have a son with autism, and I have great shame now.
There's a whistleblower from the CDC who's going to come out and say that the CDC had committed fraud on the MMR study and that they knew that vaccines were actually causing autism.
My oldest son, Ian, was walking and running. After the vaccine, he was no longer able to do that.
So I called the clinic and I said, I think my child's had adverse reaction.
Oh, why would that happen? Yeah, so let's just pick up with the video. We just had a quick break there. Let's just pick up with the video and then we'll continue to converse regarding autism after this.
Temple's twin is amazing. She is fluent in 3 languages. She speaks French like a native. She is an A student. She plays classical piano. With all of the guilt that I feel from that day, one of the best decisions I made for her was to walk out of that office without her being vaccinated. At the end of this journey, I don't want to be one of those mothers standing there saying what I wish I would have, could have, should have done. I want to be able to say, I gave it everything that I had. I gave it my best shot. His twin is going into the 11th grade. And for someone who still can't manage to cross the street, now am I grateful he's here? You bet. I'm grateful my son lived. And I was so naive that he would live a fulfilling life. He would end up being a happy man, having a family. My dreams for him. And every year that goes by, the older my son gets, the further that dream seems to be.
Yeah, that was a mother whose son and daughter, the only difference, as she said it there, the son was vaccinated. Her daughter, she refused to have the vaccine. And well, the difference between the pair, night and day. The daughter's versed in several languages, speaking French as a native, plays the piano. She was playing the piano in the background there. And the son, as you saw, repetitive behavior, rocking on the chair as he's got his laptop in front. And oftentimes the laptop becomes their best friend because sometimes they can learn to talk through the laptop. It's such a journey. You can't make it up for trying. You cannot make it up for trying.
You can't.
And
it's a tough
so sad. The hospital will force these vaccines. They'll force them onto parents. And when it goes wrong, them gone. You don't see them again. You get referred to somewhere else. They carry it bewilders the imagination. Smiley, you got your hand up. Come in, talk the things.
Yeah, because I haven't had, well, I don't know anyone in my family that has ADHD or autism, but that was quite powerful video and what the parent would go through. And I was just sitting there thinking, my goodness, all to do with a vaccine. One had it, one didn't have it. And what a difference that he's just rocking, listening to his headphones, watching cartoons or the sound of it. And yeah, she's saying that it's near enough finished for her son to have children and have a family for himself.
Right.
Is there no help that goes out there and to help with the families, or is it just you're on your own in a way?
No. There's a lot of help. Finding it can be a challenge. Finding it can be a challenge. But once you found it, whoa, lock on, mate, lock on. Let me show you this, by the way. Very, very interesting chart. This report is about autism prevalence. This is in Irvine, California. And here, autism prevalence is now 1 in 36 people. 1 in 36 people, signifying the 22% increase in prevalence rates reported by the CDC since 2021. But if you look at the growth chart from 1970, where it was 1 in 10,000, yeah, 1 in 10,000, and it's gone on through the years. 1995, 1 in 1,000, 1999, 1 in 500, to be at 1 in 36 now.
Really high.
Of every 36 people, one person is autistic, is on the spectrum. Yeah, that is I wish my bank account could grow like that. I mean, that's a phenomenal growth in the wrong direction. That means more and more people are sick, children and adults alike. Yeah. So when they talk about the vaccines in that movie, from vaccination to catastrophe, they show the things, how things have changed since vaccines were introduced, and how the autism diagnosis, along with the introduction of vaccines, have steadily gone up. So the more vaccines they're putting out there, the more autism is growing. Hello? It's got to be a connection. To me, the sadness of it is, when you're autistic, it costs money. There's a money pot that surrounds, and obviously as a family, you broke, you know, but there's a money pot that surrounds autism, because everything you get is special needs. If you're buying something and it's special, the price goes up, because not as many of them made. And people, so in this situation, it is people who can least afford it are having to live this expensive life. God, you should have seen the other day, I was helping a young lady to the airport with her autistic son. He's severely autistic. Apparently, at birth, whatever clamp they use on his head to pull him out, that caused damage.
Forceps.
Yeah, and that caused damage. I mean, he's in the wheelchair, his hand bent, and to communicate, it's blink, blink. Blink 1 for yes, 2 for no. His mother loves him to bits, as does his father. I mean, you know, taking them to the airport to see the journey. I mean, you know, but there's those in the wheelchairs, and the spectrum goes far and wide. There's those who can run about and play. I'm not sure if I'm saying it, Asperger's.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's a higher functioning autism.
Yeah, they can perform a lot better. Sometimes you might not realize they're autistic.
Yeah.
Even dyslexia.
They think they have special interests,
right,
in certain subjects or topics or whatever, and they can literally remember everything about that topic, and they just continue about that for most of the day. Just that same, yeah. It's a more of a higher functioning autism.
Now, there's one young lad, because as you say, can it get better? He's a phenomenal guy. I think his name is Stephen Wiltshire. Absolutely phenomenal young individual. What this young man does, I'll show you a clip of him now. What he can do is he can go along, look at the Houses of Parliament, just stand there, take a look at it, and then go home. He doesn't have to sit outside the building yet. Go home, put a clip art board up, sit there and draw from memory whatever the thing was that he saw. Stephen Wiltshire, just an amazing example of human ability, but how some on the spectrum can be so focused that they just can go on to, you know, do amazing things. Stephen Wiltshire recreating cities from memory. Just, I mean, not everyone's like that, by the way, but there are a few that when the spectrum hits them, they phenomenal things such as this come out. Let's have a quick look. Drawn completely from memory. autism at the age of 3 and started drawing at 5. And it was one of the few things that harmed him because, you know, existentially. His talent was spotted early. At the age of 8, the British Prime Minister commissioned his work. Now he's become famous for his skylines, which sell for thousands of dollars each. He's remembered thousands of details of New York from just one 5-minute telephone ride. And then set for 4 or 5 days straight to create the masterpiece. He sketched London, look, with the Thames, Paris, Sydney, Rio de Janeiro, Florence. His favorite subject is Empire State Building, which he artfully captured in 2015. Just phenomenal. By the way, I just have to say that those of you on radio, you can tune in to see the pictures and so on and so forth.
He's also got a photogenic
on YouTube.
Photogenic memory as well, you see.
Who's got a photogenic?
The same boy that you're
Stephen Wiltshire.
Yeah. Yeah. Part of his memory. I mean, he's very, very unique.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So in this country, National Autistic Society says there is no, it's a lifelong condition, and that you have to learn to live with it. And that's it. You know, parents, I mean, we was told to go home, and there you are, there's your lot. In America, by the way, there's a totally different response. Keith, Smiley, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is not ignorant. So what you've just stated, that you go to the society and then they go for a check and medical, this, that, and the other, and then they send you home to fend for yourself, not fend for yourself, but to just deal with it. So you're saying, what I'm hearing is that there's not a cure, that they've not a research like to work out what causes ADHD or autism. There's not a
not that they no, because for example, if it's the vaccines, they're not going to own up to that, are they? Because they'd have to be paying out billions in compensation to all the families.
I hear that and I understand that. But what I'm gonna get to my next thought, as you're saying that, the vaccines, but the vaccines, is it the COVID vaccine they're saying, or any vaccines? Because if it's a COVID vaccine, that's 2020.
No, it's not a COVID.
No.
Any vaccine they're saying.
No, this is vaccine.
Wait, I can't hear 10 people at once. One person. Yeah, please.
MMR vaccine that are given to children when they're born at birth. It's like
right. So they're saying that's what caused it.
Yeah.
So the same vaccine might mean, you know, how many of us are in it? It might do, if there's 10 of us here, 9 of us might not have a problem.
Mm.
One person does. See,
right.
Back in the day, it was like 1 in 10,000 people said it wasn't, they didn't worry about it. When you get to 1 in 36 people, it becomes like, whoa, what's going on? Even when it's 1 in 1,000, what's going on here? Yeah, because that's a huge number, 1,000, 1 million, I mean, 1 billion. That's how many people with this kind of situation that now you have to look after. So you got to build, Leisha, you got your hand up, you got to build things around that disability. Yeah, it's expensive, which is why the government, they're not funding people in the way that they should be. Leisha, you got your hand up, talk to.
Smiley was asking if there's any research done to in autism, and yes, there is. They got what's called an ARC, Autism Research Centre, in University of Cambridge. Yeah. just to highlight that. So there's lots of information about their research there, and news and publications, and all the tests and projects that they've done, and current projects as well.
That's brilliant. So there is a place over here. I did a lot of shopping online for ways to, I mean, and there's so many things out there, to be fair. This CARD, C-A-R-D, Center for Autism and Related Disorders, because autism doesn't just come by itself. It will come with other things like seizures, you know, like the body movement, like with Tourette, you're shouting out words that you don't mean to shout out and say, and it just comes just like that. Many people, but this organization here, I just can't find that they got videos on here somewhere. It's become quite a big website, to be fair. They'll teach you how to speak if your child is nonverbal. Typically, children that come to this center with a diagnosis of autism, they tell you this when you arrive. Don't worry, it's okay. Give it a couple years, your child will lose that diagnosis of autism. So forget what they say here. It's a lifelong condition. Here, you're getting a different message. Couple years, don't worry about it. Your son, daughter will be talking, we'll get past this, and you're going to live a happily family life. And then somewhere on the site, they've got videos, multiple videos, showing families that have come in with their 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, whatever, and 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, here's a child now function. It is a US site, because when I showed the UK site, it says it's a lifelong condition. Deal with it. Who wants that information? I personally want the information where it says, it's all right, son, we've got this under control. Look, many families here have totally recovered. You'll be the same. Everybody needs hope. Everybody needs hope. Imagine you're dealing with an autistic child. You've got the world of drama, right? And that's the best they take. It's a life. And you know what? This is going to be my life. Come on. Come on. You're as good as your, there's a word I'm looking for, really, but you're as good as your support structure.
As your circle and your environment.
Yeah, your circle of influence, your support structure. Yeah. Toots, you've got your hands up. You've got your hands up. Do talk to things.
I would say for them to say that 3 to 5 years, I would say that's some intensive support that they're doing, because I know that especially in America, there's a lot of programs.
Yeah.
And even one of the girls that I worked with, her mom specifically went to America because there was a program called the Sunrise Program. So
yes,
she literally, I think his name was Ralph Koofman or something like that, and his son. And she literally brought back what they like they did an intensive, I think it was about a week, and they worked with her, and she brought that back over back to the UK. Right. And I actually did it at her home with her. Do you get what I mean? So I think it's a lot more bigger and broader in America. But for me, for them to say that, that must be some intensive program that they're doing with them, for them to say, do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
because
it is an
hard
program. It has to be intensive.
It has to be an intensive program for them
the
to
Sunrise was a very
make
good
that
one.
statement.
Yep. The Sunrise program.
Working with children for so long, do you get what I mean? And seeing it, and even doing this program as well. Do you get what I mean? I would say that even the girl that I worked with, she's very independent, but she still has autism. I wouldn't say that she doesn't have it.
She has a trace of it. She's got a level of independence, but it's a higher level of independence because they put that much more effort and training to get
exactly.
her there.
Yeah.
You know, look at this.
Because I remember even with this Sunrise program, we were doing like intensive sessions with her for most of the day, with like breaks in between.
All day.
That's why I'm saying it's got to be a very intensive.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
To
just
get
like
them
we
to
got
that point.
All day, every day. Pinky?
That's the thing about America. I mean, you know, with it's not only the autism, You know, even if you listen to them when they talk about, even with the ADHD, you know, they like you said, their programs are so different. And this is one of the things that I think was founded also within the research that was done here, and also what the Guardian had reported, was that
biggest event so far.
you know, well, the parents were basically saying, you know, teaching the staff, you know, they need more training or specialist training then, and how you deal with children who are autism. I mean, if you think that there's nearly 200 and so many methods to teaching, and we're only using one,
in this country, you'd think it was a third world country.
Crazy. Pardon?
You'd think we're in a third world country when it comes to autism. I went to the doctor and I said to him,
we're really below.
We're no good, we're crap. I can tell you that firsthand.
Yeah,
I went
when
to
it
the
comes
doctor
to
with
method, we just stick to one method of
I don't know what we
teaching
stick to,
when
but
there's
from
so
me
many
telling
other
a parent
methods.
that healing is not possible, it's a lifelong condition, you've lost my attention. Sunrise program, it says it here, what makes the Sunrise program so different is that we were the first to suggest that children with these diagnoses had the potential for extraordinary healing and growth. That's mindset. If you have a mindset where no, it's just a lifelong condition, well, you're stuck. You're not even trying to improve at that, but it's just a life, learn to manage. Oh, that's what he does. Okay, how do you work around it? These lot are saying, that's what he's doing. He doesn't have to do that forever. We can fix that. Let's work towards fixing it. Makes all of the difference. And then through that, there are families that children have literally lost the diagnosis, living a full and wonderful life. They can expect they're going to be married, have children, and so on. I mean,
and this is why you need to work with them from when they're young.
You have to work. You have
they're
to put
workable for when they're young.
Because
I've got a cousin, and she's got a daughter who's autistic, and I started working with her last year. And she was 3. She only turned 4 towards the end of last year.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And I was so lucky that, you know, because I've done this work, that I was able to support her and, you know, give her strategies and things that she could do at home, because she was completely lost, and because there's no services for her because of her age, and she's under 5. Do you get what I mean? She was really, really, really struggling. So, you know, I did as much
we're
as
here
I could
every
last
week.
year to
We're
help
here every
her.
week discussing, talking and things. This show about autism, phenomenal discussion. There's so much more to get into and to discuss. You can find it on YouTube. Our radio listeners, you'll find it on the radio station that you listen to. But we have to say goodbye for now. The time has gone so quickly. Good Lord. Thank you, everyone, for your participation and so on and so forth. But yeah, we look forward to future days where we will continue to have such conversations and bring to bear to book what's really going on. History, news, views, and reviews from a Black perspective. Thank you, Giggles. Good night.